Okay.
Cool. I could call this meeting to order at 6:40.
Would you please state the date for me?
Let's say, what is today? Today's
July 12th.
July 12th. Oh, there it is. July 12th, 2016. I'll give a roll call.
Deborah Mendel.
Eileen Leon.
Russell Owens.
James Motlow.
It seems that we do not have a quorum, so we cannot take action on any business, but we can discuss things.
No,
So
you can't.
we'll just discuss things because it's a duly noted meeting. It's been noted. So we can talk about things because we're not a
No,
quorum.
you can't. It's a Brown Act violation.
Would you please not interrupt? I'm very familiar with the Brown Act. I've had lessons on it. I had a lawyer for 2 years teaching us. That's your own opinion.
I was here
Don't
during those
interrupt again,
5-minute
please.
sessions for 3 meetings.
Don't interrupt again.
You're going to hold
Okay.
an illegal meeting.
Let's go. I'm done.
Well, I think, would you mind, Mr. Chairman? Well, it's up to you. I was,
Do I hear a motion to adjourn this meeting? What do you want to do? I'm not going to sit here and listen to this. I do not want to be interrupted.
I move to adjourn.
you'll move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Okay, let's adjourn. I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay.
Leon.
It's been moved
Need to be
and
disrupted.
seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll get a point.
Discuss matters without a quorum. You've tried to do that in the past, and you've done it, you've gotten away with it, but
Okay. Meeting's
Someday-
adjourned. You can leave the building.
someday the FTPC will catch up with you.
Yes. Call a lawyer. Call a lawyer. Do whatever you want to do. You've lost every
You guys
case.
didn't travel far.
Whatever, it was illegal anyway, and you're all self-elected, except for her.
You've lost every court case.
Maybe you didn't notice I'm appealing.
You've lost.
The meeting's adjourned. Would you please leave?
Sure.
It's better.
Thank you very much.
They kick us out of the meeting, and they have been holding this private meeting now for, what, 20 minutes at least? Is that a little kitty that just... Is it really? He's got his gavel.
Good evening. So can you discuss what was discussed inside after the meeting?
Oh, God. Retired men who have Social Security money to buy a camera. What do we do?
Oh, that was an insult.
Right.
Wait a minute. They were walking back together. The 3 board members. Without noticing it to the public. Brown Act violation. Just one long Brown Act violation after another.
I informed him that I've actually talked to Mr. John Locke. and
John Locke,
Their eyes,
a descendant of
the one gentleman.
George W. Locke.
The one gentleman, that's when his tone totally changed. He was coming up to escort me out, but then it didn't work that way. So I proceeded to tell him my opinion. There's 3 sides to every story. There's one side, there's the other side, and then you take facts from here, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. That's the way it is. They proceeded to try to give me and explain to me their side. And I kept on rebutting them with the knowledge that I had from the documents that I've seen. And then the Don Juan hair guy, he didn't like me at all. They showed me a picture, and I happened to be married to an Asian woman. I'm very familiar with Asians.
Yeah.
And they showed me, well, is there anybody in here that's not Chinese? I said, yeah, absolutely. There's 4 kids in a picture. The 2 middle one are not Chinese.
Yeah.
They're not. Unless they're that big, tall basketball player that came over here and played, they're not Chinese. They don't have the bone structure. They don't.
Right.
Well, that lit him up because he interviewed that lady for his book. I said, well, I don't care. I'm not going to tell you who she's been with, but I'm telling you, those 2 kids are not 100% Chinese.
Right.
No
Okay.
way. The young one, yes. And then it would have been the next oldest from the youngest, yes. The 2 oldest, no way. No way. So, the Don Juan here guy got mad.
Which one's the Don Juan?
He was the guy with the glasses.
James.
Jim Motlow? The great with the shorts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't like me, but I don't care. The other gentleman, he was very forthcoming. He explained the situation with your building.
What's that?
Um,
Because they've never talked to me in 5 years. They won't talk to me.
basically, you bought the building for 20%, 15% of the value of any other building on this street.
Well,
So they wanted to take and move the LMA from here down to that building.
you're kidding me. That's their reason now?
And I
'Cause
flat out
these-
told them, I said, well, that's...
What happened to the 400 Chinese people they were going to assign it to?
I said, wait a minute. I said, we're talking apples and we're talking oranges here. I said, there was supposed to be this list of descendants, ascendants, and I said, by the way, John
John Locke, yeah.
has made attempts. So the lady actually gave me this email address to give to John.
Okay.
And then they gave me,
He said that he spoke to Clarence like 3 times asking to be put on any notification.
gave
list.
me this, which was, I don't know, it's something for Historic Town wins lawsuit, preservation
Oh,
may now
gosh.
continue in China.
Full of libel.
Gave me this.
That's the batch of libel and slander.
And I just told him, I said, look, I don't care what you do. I can make 1,000 laws today. But you, and I was pointing to that gentleman, I said, you're an American citizen, right? He said, yep. And I said, well, guess what? So am I. And I said, this town is on American soil, right? He says, yeah. He goes, where are you getting at? I said, no matter what law you write, there's one piece of paper that you have to go by first and foremost. And I said, that's called the American Constitution. And I said, U.S. Constitution. And I said, for you to say, you can vet me. If I wanted to buy that building that's for sale right down here, if I wanted to buy that, you can't stop me. I said, on a personal level, you can stop me. You can vet me. You can look at my background, and if I am not worthy as a citizen, if I'm a pedophile, if I've been a convicted felon, you have the legal right to keep me out. I will give you that. If you vet me, and I am 100% legit, if I decide to buy that building for $2, you cannot intervene. I said, it's the way it is. Well, then that's when the other guy got mad because, well, he goes, well, now we're talking Constitution. He goes, either you agree with the legal system, and I said, no, I'm not going to say that I do agree with the legal system. He goes, so in your world, everything is chaotic. I said, no, absolutely not. I said, in my world, right is right and wrong is wrong. It has nothing to do with being chaotic. And I said, I apologize because I've offended you. But I'm not sorry because I have. Because evidently I have informed you of things that you may or may not have overlooked. And the other gentleman, without the glasses, he's like, well, you know, this is nuts and bolts. I said, well, it may have started out that way. I said, but you guys have all lived together. You've told me you've been here since 73, you've been here since 80, and you've been here since... I said, that's all well and good. I said, you can't discriminate against somebody from the outside. I said, if you haven't noticed, this is 2016. Why don't you turn on the TV? There's a Black Lives Matter movement going on. You've got the LBGT movement going on. And what's that all about? I said, what happens if they find out about this little bitty community? I said, the money that was spent, wouldn't it have been better if you guys had a fire prevention system? Because I don't know, but I think I see charred remains. I said, you fought for a building. You've already got one. I said, what's the LMA need with two?
Yeah, and there's about a dozen that they could renovate. They want to renovate a building. There's about a dozen that are falling down and that are inhabited by pigeons and bats and feral cats and rats.
So that's when things kind of started going south, was because I kind of made it, they thought I was making it political, and I wasn't making it political at all. I literally...
Sounds pretty logical to me, what you were saying.
I said what I said. They've never seen me. I said, oh, I've been around here for about 3 months now. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. And I said, furthermore, let's talk about that building. Well, when I said let's talk about that building, that's when we had to walk out the door. So.
Well, oh yeah? Why?
The one for sale?
Yeah.
Oh, the one for... Wait, which one for sale?
The one right down here for sale.
Oh, yeah, really? They didn't want to talk about it? Oh my God.
Now, which building is that?
It's where Strange Cargo used to be. It's owned by Cindy now. Clarence gave it to her. Where was the right of first refusal thing for that? Where was the 25 days
Basically
for
what
that?
they've tried to do is I understand what they tried to do initially. I really do.
Which was what?
It is a unique little town. The Don Juan guy, the guy with the glasses, he can't stand
James
me
Motlow.
because he kept on saying this was Chinese. I said, wait till John gets here. We'll find out. I said, all I'm going to tell you is this side and this side, they're not the same. So that's all I'm going to tell you. He goes, well, I researched it, blah, blah, freaking blah. And I'm like, well, I don't care what you have done. I said, I understand the economic benefit from you saying what you've said. The other guy that I had the original conversation with,
The chairman
he got kind of upset because I said that. He says, oh, it's not like that. I said, well, no, it is. I said, everywhere you go, it's the historic Chinese town of Locke. I said, if you say the historical town of Locke, now you're not going to have Chinese buses pulling in off that highway right there. I said, I'm an outsider. I said, I am a businessman. I may not look it. I did that intentionally. Because if you want to judge this book by the cover, you've got a rude thing coming. And we got to... They kept on saying that I'd never been beyond Main Street. And what I gather is the Main Street buildings, $100,000.
Huh?
Is what I guess.
Depends on which one.
That's what they're saying.
What about $100,000?
That's what they're saying that they're getting. Basically, the deal that you had with Miss LeBlanc.
Yeah.
They thought they could have that deal.
Yeah, because they had $67,000 in their account at the time. I was buying it for $21,000. Of course, it didn't look the way it does today, It had cats and rats living in it. It had busted windows out. The back door
and-
was
and
jarred open.
What I
mold-
tried to
mold
explain to
infested.
him, I said, no, no, no. I said, that's where you've overstepped your constitutional boundaries. That was a sale. That was a price between LeBlanc and Martha.
And they had 25 days to match it.
That doesn't have anything to do with you being the LMA. I said, if the LMA may have contacted LeBlanc, LeBlanc may have said, well, for you guys, it's going to be $130,000. She has that legal right. She ultimately has that legal right to set the price. I can sell you this bottle for 5 cents. But he looks like a peckerhead. So now, for him to buy this same bottle, it's going to cost him $0.25. And that's legal.
You give 2 testimonies there. I felt discrimination.
But you belong
You guys are best buddies, too.
but you belong to a nonprofit.
I got earrings.
Yeah, you belong to a nonprofit organization that's taken money from me. And I haven't seen any improvements. So for
For fire
me,
protection.
you got to pay a little more. It's constitutional. To say, for me and you to have this bottle for a nickel, that's between me and you.
Yeah.
They can come and he can come over and say, well, yeah,
You
she
have
does
to
look
sell
good.
me the bottle for a nickel.
And I'm
No,
going
I
to say,
could offer you $100 for it, and you don't have to sell it to me.
no, it ain't for sale to you. Sorry about your luck, bud.
Yeah. Only thing I can-
Every store in America, I believe you even have one in your store.
Yeah.
You have the right to refuse service to anyone, right?
And I have the right to serve refuse.
So
To the
therefore,
element.
explain to me what is different between that and me having a piece of property that you want to buy.
Well, they will counteract and say, we have a set of bylaws and CCNRs that say that we have a 25-day right of first refusal period
We
during
went
which
down
time.
that road. We
Yes,
went down that road.
but
And I said, look,
they
the
waited.
problem.
Okay, what
the
did you tell
problem,
them on that one?
I didn't even go into the part that
They were 2 days late.
I went into the constitutional part. And I literally said, it's right is right and wrong is wrong, people. California is a very liberal state, and I know and I get that, and I don't agree with it all. But with all that being said and done, California still has to follow the Constitution. And I said, they said, well, we just want to get along.
Really?
And I said, well, here's the problem. Problem is, the internet is a very small world. And I said, I've done a lot of research on the internet. And I said, this little town's all over it. If y'all really want to get along, do you have the money to pay for that building down there? None of them would say anything. And I said, well, why not let Martha be Martha? Let her do as she's done. And instead of all she is trying to do, I said, you guys have been pointing your finger at her, trying to get her kicked out of this town because she's different than you are. I'm an outsider. I said, and for me to sit here, and she literally brings up something in the Brown Act, which you are legitimately supposed to be following, but from your guys' standpoint, this is podunk America to you. So we don't have to follow everything, because who's going to tell us otherwise? Well, you have ruffled feathers of somebody who does know right from wrong. And as long as you've got them feathers ruffled, what do you think she's going to do? I said, if you ruffled my feathers, you're going to get a hell of a lot worse than what she's doing to you. I can tell you that. And that's when I asked about the building, and then that's when the lady had to leave, had to set the alarm for whatever reason. I guess the meeting's timed, I don't know. And here we are.
Or they just didn't want you asking questions about that building for sale, for whatever reason.
Be two of yous in this town.
Boy, I sure thank you for going in there, because you got more out of them than I have in 5 years.
There's no shame in my game. Some people, I'm pretty confident I've embarrassed him from time to time. If you hang with me, it happens. I'm a full package deal.
Well, I sure thank you. Thank you.
Not a
A whole
problem.
bunch of, really appreciate your support.
No shame in my game. Right's right and wrong's wrong.